This is the Crowbar back with part 3, the final part of mission 4 of my Metal Gear Rising guide. If you picked up from where we left off last time, you'll go through a long codec cutscene there, and then you'll get here. And this is getting into the first of this level's boss fights now. This first fight here, it's more like a mini-boss fight than a boss. Because what you're fighting is a cloned body of Mistral. Well, a cyborg body of Mistral. She doesn't have access to any of her environmental attacks that she did from the boss fight. It's pretty much just her and her staff combat. And she's not really all that challenging, especially since you've gotten a lot better now. The polearm you got from your earlier fight is very useful here, because it can hit all of the dwarf geckos along with her at the same time. Those dwarf geckos are probably the most annoying part of the fight anyway, so being able to get rid of those is a real positive. And she also has less health than she does in her boss version, too. And really the only strategy for this is to just get up next to her and punish her as much as you absolutely can. She can't really block that many hits before she goes into kind of a stun state where you can go into blade mode and chop her staff in half. And additionally, what makes this even easier is that all of the dwarf geckos will helpfully drop healing items. Now, since that's just happened, a savvy player might realize that their next fight is going to be a cyborg body clone of Monsoon. And he will always start with the fog attack. And Monsoon follows the same rules that Mistral did, in the sense that he can't use any of his arena-specific moves. So he can't use his giant rolling boulder of junk, and he can't vanish and toss random debris at you. However, ironically enough, this actually kind of makes him a bit harder in this fight. He's got less health, but he's still got all of his same attacks, and he'll use the meaner, more damaging ones a lot more than he would in his normal fight. And he can be difficult to parry and difficult to deal with a lot of his attacks, just like his boss fight. However, he does have the exact same weakness that his boss fight did, which is EMP grenades. You will probably still have a few left over from his fight, and you've probably gotten a couple in this last level, too. So when he gets into his purple energy state, just bust out an EMP grenade to knock him out of it. And like Mistral, he also has much less health in this form than he did in this full boss fight, too. And once he is dead, this sequence is complete, and you'll move on. And in this next room here, you're going to go through a long cutscene that I went ahead and skipped in this. And then right after that cutscene, you have a couple more items to find before the actual final boss of this level. Run up these stairs and then walk along this middle catwalk. Make your way around the left side of the room. I guess the right side from where you're positioned now. And from here, you can jump up onto a server and then on along some pipes. And then drop down over on the other side. And here, you will find a locked chest, which contains another data module. Before you hop up onto the platform up there, run back here to get a VR terminal. And then finally, once you're outside, turn left, equip a homing missile, and look over onto this platform over here to find the humanoid gecko for this level. You'll want to aim at the top half, otherwise it's going to hit the railing. Then, head along this bridge to fight Sundowner. Sundowner's a much different fight than Mistral or Monsoon were. Unlike those guys, he's a big heavy hitter. And what makes this fight even more difficult is that he has explosive armor paneling on his body. And he will charge you with it, he'll hit you with it, and worst of all, if you're close to him and you accidentally attack it, it'll explode in your face and deal damage. When he does his charge, you can counter it like that, and then when you counter it, his two little arms for his armor will go up. That gives you the chance to use blade mode to slice them off. When he uses his armor for defense, you can slice his armor off there, too. There are a couple different ways to fight this boss here, and depending on what difficulty you're playing, it can be easier to leave the armor on, but unless you're playing on a really high difficulty, then that doesn't really apply. Another annoying factor of this fight is those helicopters, and, well, if you've still got your homing missile equipped, then that'll take care of him in one hit. And Sundowner himself is, his attacks are pretty slow. They're pretty slow and they're pretty easy to dodge, but he does have a couple really mean, nasty, unblockable attacks, like this one. After you've chopped off all of his armor, he'll go into his second phase. In this phase, he'll equip both of his blades onto one of his arms, as the scissor blade, pincer blade combo. And in this state, he gets a bit more faster and a bit more powerful, but he's also way less defensive. He also gains quite a few unblockable attacks in this form. The one you especially want to be wary of is the one where he holds out his arm with his blades horizontal. And that attack can take off a good 2/3 of your life bar if it hits. And this is the time when Ripper mode really shines in boss fights. It's not all that great for dealing with regular enemies, but if you need to deal a lot of damage to a boss fast, then there's pretty much nothing better. So after you've dealt most of the damage to Sundowner, he will jump off the building, catch onto a helicopter, and blow you up. And this initiates the flying sequence of this boss fight. You'll jump down, grab onto one of the flying enemies, and then steer it into the building and back upwards. Now, along this flight, you'll have to dodge other flying enemies, debris, pillars, and random outcroppings off the wall. You can press X and Y in this mode to fire missiles, which can help clear some of the debris, but the fire rate's pretty slow. Then, once you reach the top, use blade mode and cut open the roof. Then, when you break through, you'll have a short little QuickTime event, and should you succeed in that QuickTime event, you will win the boss fight. And with that, we've completed Mission 4 of Metal Gear Rising.